Okay, good morning. It's been a morning. I've been running around everywhere trying to find exhaust gaskets for day 2 for the install. Apparently not many auto parts stores have stuff for the 350Z for swap. So if you're gonna do it, call before and see if they have it, because I've been running around. I went to O'Reilly's, 2 O'Reilly's actually, 2 AutoZones, and a Napa Auto Parts. So yeah, they don't really have so much stuff, and it's the weekend, so they're not open, Nissan's not open, so I had to settle with that. But I mean, they're good gaskets. It's an exhaust gasket. Yeah, pretty standard. His old ones were pretty shot, you can see. And if you're gonna do it, change the gaskets. Always change the gaskets. It doesn't matter if you've ran it for 100 miles, change the gaskets. They get crushed, they get hot, they get burnt up, they get ripped, they get torn. Change the gaskets. Anyway, a little bit about what I've been doing. I came over yesterday to strip his old motor. You can see the old motor pretty much has nothing on it. I had to take the wiring harness off. I had to take off the intake manifold. This is the one that came with the engine. You can see where they cut this, but they broke this. There was another thing on here that they broke. I don't know. It looked like crap. I didn't like it. So I took his old one. His old one's much better. It's gonna be covered pretty much with the plastic anyway, but the gasket's new. The intake manifold works. Oh, it was the throttle body. The throttle body was completely broken. I think I threw that one out actually, so I don't have anything to show you, but I'm gonna use his factory one anyway. But you see what I'm talking about as far as the engine goes. When it's sitting up here on an engine stand, it's much easier to put the wiring harness, lay it out, put the brackets on, rather than doing it in the car. So, full walk around. I don't know if you can see. I might need to get a light. The day out here is kind of gloomy, so if there's issues with lighting, maybe I'll watch the playbacks and see, make sure you guys can see. If not, I'm gonna have to do another take. So anyway, I had to change some of his pulleys. It didn't come with an alternator. It didn't come with the idler for the AC. So I had to change some of those over. But all in all, the engine's ready to go in. I don't think this video is gonna be that long. It's pretty much just reverse of what I did on the removal. So I'm gonna try and explain certain things that I catch as I go in and show you guys it going in and getting put together, but I don't think it's gonna be that long. So anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna get started. Okay, as you can see, the engine bay is nice and clean, no debris. I try to wipe everything off before I put the engine in, because you're not going to get a chance to anymore. Once the engine's in, it's really hard to touch the firewall. So take the 5 minutes, clean it up, get off the crap or the blown engine oil or whatever is on there, and take pride in your work. I try to. Anyway, I'm getting ready to put the motor in. So one of the things I wanted to point out is, do you see this line, the power steering line that goes to the rack? For whatever reason, they decided to put this nipple sticking up like this, and no matter how hard you try, you're gonna hit it. So, well, I hope you don't hit it, but it's really difficult. So when the engine comes out, be very careful of that. A lot of people bend them over, it pinches off right here, and you have to get a new line. They do make aftermarket kits for it that you can get a braided line, but I haven't found one for the 350Z yet. They have one for a 240, but as far as it goes, the 350Z one, maybe it's the same thing. I don't know, I'll have to look into it. But this is a major thing to watch out for, because the engine has to kind of come over and then bolt down to here and here. Granted, the transmission will come up, and actually that's why I use the jack off the side, and I'll jack it up so that way the angle for when the engine goes into the trans is kind of at an angle, a downward slope, and then I'll set it all down together. So that's pretty much one of the main things to look out for when putting the engine back in. It's really the only thing, because after you clear this, and let me show you on the engine what will hit it, this right here. So it sticks down pretty far. You're gonna run this into it, taking it out or putting it in. Be careful of it. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Okay, now I gotta get it hooked up onto the cherry picker and we'll start to put it in. Okay, one of the last things I forgot to say is when you have an engine on an engine stand like this, you can't really do anything with the rear because the head, hold on, let me get a light because can't see. The head actually attaches to where the bell housing goes, and this is a manual, so I can't put the flywheel or the clutch on. I'm actually going to have to still take it off of his engine. You can see it's bolted back here. So I'll pull this off and put it on that after I put the cherry pick on and pull it off. Then I can take the head off the engine and I'll just do it while it's attached to the chain. So I'm gonna do that first and then it'll be ready to stab in. So I'm gonna get it ready. Okay, one of the other things I do before I put the engine in is I lube the shaft. Insert gay Mike joke or comment here. Yeah, because he would. But I make sure that it's nice and lubed up, the splines. It keeps it quiet. I use like a high temp bearing grease just to make sure everything's coated. So yeah, if it gets really hot, you'll start hearing noises and the friction will start causing it to prematurely wear out. So that's enough playing with the shaft, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Everything from the clutch is now transferred over. You can see flywheel's on, clutch is on, all the wiring, everything's hooked up, everything's ready to go in. I also have, let me come over here. The transmission is all jacked up. Yeah, if I come over here and show you, it's at its highest point that it can go. Hopefully to clear this makes it a little bit easier. Like I said, the angle will be at a downward slope when I start to lower it in, and then I can lower the jack down and have the engine kind of fall together. So I don't have anybody else here that can help me do this, so I'm gonna have to kind of do this on my own, put it in there, come back, show you. I could leave it running, but I mean, you know how an engine goes in. All I'm trying to do is line up the bell housing bolt holes. I have two started up here, so when I know that the input shaft goes in, then I can start those and then kind of set it down. It'll sit on here, and the engine will be in, so watch out. Okay, so I got the engine in. You can see it's sitting flat. I started the bell housing bolts, but just removing the chain, you can see that pretty much I just have to set this in here, set these down in here, and start hooking up the stuff around. I really don't have that much more to go. So I'm just gonna start cleaning up, start tidying up, and start putting it together. So, okay, now just to give you an overview what I've been doing. You can see the engine's pretty complete already. Still daylight, haven't really been working on it that long. I hooked up the hose that goes to the heater on this side, as well as the other hose that comes down to right in there to the heater. And then I had this whole assembly, all the fuel and this line that comes over to here all come off as one. I took that one off, I took these two off, and this whole assembly kind of pulled out of the way. So putting it back, you can see that it just is going back real smooth, real easy. The harness is just laying in here. I have to feed it down into there, but the harness will be pretty much done after I do that. Then I have the vacuum line. I've been hooking up the grounds. These are the grounds I was talking about. So there's one, here's the one on the harness, and there's the big one that goes to the chassis. Don't forget them. So everything else, I'm gonna be putting the power steering back on. I'll put the AC back on, and then button up everything underneath. You can see the harness is hanging down there. That's the one that goes over the transmission. But after it goes over the transmission, then I'll be able to put the front clip on, put the radiator in, and we'll be pretty good to go. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and I'll show you more of the progress before I put the hood on and before I start it. So okay, so it's dark now, and you can see the progress that I've made. Everything is pretty much buttoned up. I got the front on, I have the cover on, I got the belts on, pretty much everything except for the accessories. I don't have the intake tube, and then I don't have the headlights and the front bumper. But we made a lot of progress today. I'm gonna call it a night. It's getting late and I got work tomorrow. So the process is taking a little bit longer than I thought, but I'll wrap it up and we'll have a startup video here probably in the next 2 days. Okay, so I got a little bit of explaining to do. This was my car, that was the startup. It wasn't Caleb's car. Caleb was the customer that I was working on. And as you can see, his car is gone. It's not here. I had a whole bunch of different things that I was dealing with. Trying to vlog the rest of it, my camera messed up and I was unable to recover. Well, I wasn't unable to recover because you guys are watching this video now, but my GoPro messed up and said that it was a card failure, that I had to reformat it, and I was afraid I was actually going to lose all the footage you guys just watched. So, long story short, I wasn't able to vlog the rest of it. He needed his car back. I wanted to get it to him. So that's why I don't have a startup video, an actual startup video of his car. As you can see, he already has it. So one of the other things that happened with this swap that was kind of unfortunate is, let me sit down right here. We got an engine that on the crank itself, when I went to go put in the flywheel the first time, there was actually stripped bolt holes. And so it pushed back this whole process for probably 2 or 3 days. And then by the time we got the engine back, then it was like, I had to hurry up. I wanted to get the engine done. I wanted to make sure it was right. The company we were dealing with, I won't say any names. I was going to, but it's just not professional. It's not something I'm going to bust out. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe something happened that they were unaware of. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we got the engine back. I was able to verify that the holes were right. They retapped them. Everything went together smoothly, and then it was grind. Try to get the car back together, try to get it to the customer, and now he's driving it. So, yeah, I'm sorry I don't have any more for you. Hopefully this video has been able to show you pretty much in detail on how the engine goes together, all of what it should look like. I tried to go and stroll over everything. I know when I'm watching videos and I'm trying to figure out what people are talking about, you're able to look over everything and see how it goes back together factory. So I hope it was helpful for you. I don't got anything else for it. So I'm gonna end this video. If you like it, like, subscribe, follow me. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram. It's at The Crooked King. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll be doing more. I got a whole bunch of stuff going for this car. You can see I'm pulling the wrap off right now. So I'm gonna have a kind of a behind the build on what I'm doing, what's in the car, and that type of stuff. So that'll probably be one of the next videos I do, as well as answer some of your guys' questions from the LS, why the LS blew up, and stuff like that. So a lot more content coming at you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the love. Peace.